Good morning and welcome to Hope, Faith, and Joy Daily Devotion with me, Pastor Amanda. It is a very cold morning out there, but still we can have our devotion. Today we're looking at Exodus chapter 17. So we are continuing on our journey, and we are informed in the first verse that the Israelites continue to travel in stages just as they were commanded. And we find them at their next camp, Rephidim. And again, they find themselves in a situation in which they have no water. And again, the people immediately turn to Moses with complaints. And what we discover here is that Moses kind of turns it back on them just a little bit. He's like, why are you upset with me? And why would you test Yahweh? Kind of challenging them to think about their intentions and what they're doing. He's asking them, like, God saved us this many times, and you're still going to get upset with me about this? And so the people, though, they can't quite see their error in judgment, and so they begin to complain more that why have you brought us out here to die? And they threaten to kill him. And so Moses immediately, instead of turning to God to say, help the people, his response is, help me. They're going to kill me if they don't get water. And what happens then is that God then gives Moses instructions on how to give the people water. And he tells him to take his staff and strike the Nile, that you struck the Nile with, and he'll lead him to a rock. And at this rock, the people will drink. And so, something to note in that little part is that, God's going to answer the prayers of the people, but it's going to take effort on Moses's part. God just doesn't do it. There has to be some action on the people's part. And since at this point in time, Moses is the most faithful and trusting that God will save, he's the one that's leading the people, because the people don't have that trust to, call out to God and say, hey, God, we're thirsty down here. Can you give us something to drink? No, they're still in this blaming game that they're doing. Like it's somebody's fault that they're in this situation, versus asking God, what can we do to get help? They prefer just to blame somebody for their situation. So Moses, though, turns to God again. He might not be asking for exactly the right thing, asking for water for the people, but he is asking for God to protect him. And so God's like, well, then let's just give some water to the people. So we have that saying that goes on, that we have that happening. So then we have this other little story that happens in chapter 17. The Amalek people come out to fight with the Israelite people. And what we're introduced to another character that's going to be important in our story, and we find that Joshua is one of the leaders that takes the men out to fight. And so we also find out that as Joshua takes the men out to fight, Moses needs to take a stand in a place where everybody can see him. And so he goes to the top of the hill. He's kind of their symbol of courage. He is the one that is reminding them of their connection to God. He's giving them their energy and their courage to keep fighting. But what we find out at this point in time is that what happens is that, so Moses raises his hands up with his staff, and when his hands are up, the Israelites are winning, and when his hands come down, they begin to lose their battle. And so we hear that, it's evidently quite tiring for Moses to do this. And so they give him a rock to sit on. And then we are told that Aaron and Hur, Hur, hold up his hand, one on each side, to steady him until sunset. Now, I love this. This is so amazing. So leaders get tired. I mean, they're up there all the time trying to get things done. If you think of it, if anybody who's running a children's ministry, of how exhausting it is to keep all the pieces and parts to going, of course, pastors get tired. Anybody who's working in mission, with feeding the poor, or clothing the poor, it's an ongoing process, but it gets wearisome. It gets so wearisome. And yes, we need our leaders to keep things organized and keep things going, but their arms get tired. And so it's so important that we have these people who will come by and support and hold up our arms. And I love this image of the people who come by and say, we're going to help you do your work, by supporting you. And today, that's what I would really like you to think about, is when you get tired and exhausted in life, who are the people that hold up your arms so that you can continue doing the ministry, the leadership that you are doing? Who's the person at work when you just are at a stuck place, that they're the one who can come by and help you and keep you going, keep you motivated? Who is it around the house? That's that person that when things get to be too much, they kind of follow behind and kind of help keep things going. You can find these people everywhere. And so take time to give thanks, not only to God for these people that are your arm holders, but let them know that they're your arm holders. You know, there's nothing wrong with giving somebody a quick call and saying, thanks for holding my arms up when I'm tired. And I just love that about this piece of scripture, recognizing the arm holders in our lives. And so this chapter ends with them building an altar to God, giving thanks for the ministry that has been done, or for the, excuse me, for the battle that has been won. And we have this lovely little piece of scripture that we use often, kind of out of place, but Moses built an altar and called it, "The Lord is my banner." And so we are reminded that this is like God holds us up. God is the one we look to in all these situations, and it's God that carries us through. And so that's the chapter for today. Tomorrow we'll get some good advice from Jethro, Moses's father-in-law. Again, it kind of helps us to understand ministry and all the intricacies of it. So thanks for joining me today with Hope, Faith, and Joy Daily Devotion, and stay safe and warm, and I'll see you tomorrow.